have to fear is
In war,
fear itself.
there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
Thanks for joining us here on WallBuilders Live with David Barton and Rick Green. You joined us right in the middle of a two-part program. Tim Brooks speaking from the Pro-Family Legislators Conference last year. We're going to jump right in. If you missed yesterday, you can get it online right now at wallbuilderslive.com. Here's Tim Brooks.
I was born with a short fuse. I was born with a temper. In fact, I was. But that's not acceptable, nor is that an alternative lifestyle. I'm going to have to control myself by an inner moral strength that allows me to overcome the way I was born. I was born with a compulsive disorder, but all the other cars on the highway do not have to bear the brunt of the way I was born. You will have to learn to crucify, son, the way you were born. You will have to overcome that sin nature that you were born with. And for a couple of hundred years in this country, parents raised children and one way or another explained to them how to overcome that sin nature. But now parents are not explaining to kids how to overcome that sin nature. And 2-year-olds that throw a fit in the den are now 30-year-olds and they're walking into public schools. They're walking into the place of employment because a parent did not explain to them growing up how to overcome that sin nature. Because they didn't hear in kindergarten how to overcome sin nature. They didn't hear in the first grade how to overcome that thing that wells up inside you. Second graders have got to be taught there's a sin nature that's inside you. And if you do what it tells you to do, if you live by those dictates, you will die, but you can have life. You can live if you learn to overcome those instincts. But now, not only are we not telling them to overcome their instincts, we are now telling them that those instincts are okay, that they are right, and that is acceptable behavior. I found myself in this very topic, in this very conversation, in a debate. And in this debate that I was in, I was asked, well, Tim, what do you tell somebody with autism? And right there, it became very clear to me where America is. At that instant, I saw where America is, and I saw the battle that we're facing. And I immediately said to her, the Bible does not list heart murmurs, autism, and epilepsy as sin. And it was quiet as a mouse in that debate. See, with the Bible being removed from our thinking, from our daily awareness, from our understanding of life, what is inherited sicknesses have now become inherited sins, and we don't know the difference. All you got to do is read Romans chapter 1. Read Colossians chapter 3. Read Galatians. Read 1 Timothy. Let me turn to Colossians chapter 3. Just in case you have not read lately. Colossians chapter 3. So put to death the sinful earthly things lurking in you. It doesn't say vote and legislate and make it an alternative lifestyle. Put to death the earthly sinful things lurking within you. Have nothing to do with sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires. Don't be greedy, for a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. Because of these sins, the anger of God is coming. You used to do these things when your life was still a part of this world. But now is the time to get rid of anger, rage, malicious behavior, slander, dirty language. Don't lie to each other, for you stripped off your old sinful nature and its wicked deeds. Put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. In this new life, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what religious background you are. It doesn't matter where you have come from. Christ is all that matters, and He lives in all of us. Since God chose you to be His holy people, He loves you. You must clothe yourself with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive other people. Above all, clothe yourself with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. And let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts. I don't have time to talk about all of the social and economic problems of this country that could be turned around immediately if in every grade in school, every day, that was read. And that was instilled in the thinking of our students across America. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9. For the law was not intended for people who do what's right. It's for people who are lawless and rebellious, who are ungodly and sinful, who consider nothing sacred and defile what is holy, to kill their father or mother or commit other murders. The law is for people who are sexually immoral, who practice homosexuality, or slave traders, liars, promise breakers, or do anything else that contradicts the wholesome teaching that comes from the good news. What if that was read to every student every day in school? It's a clear list. But with the removal of biblical thinking that tells us the definition of what's right and what's wrong, what is acceptable behavior and what is not acceptable behavior, when you remove that, then we have the chaotic mess that we have, and we cannot possibly hire enough police to control that chaos. When Corinthians, when Colossians, when 1 Timothy would immediately control that chaos if it was instilled in every child's heart. Born this way. Legislators, as Jude 10 says, individuals and our nation cannot survive doing what its natural instincts tell them to do. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, it would be fun. Yes, it would feel good. Yes, I would enjoy it. Yes, it would be a thrill. Yes, it would be a buzz. But it's not right. It's not right. And I would stand and face judgment for it. Last week, I bought me a digital mini voice recorder to start recording some dictations and have those typed up. Little bitty deal about like this. But I get this big box. And so I start unpacking my digital voice recorder. And it was really amazing as I sat there at my desk trying to find the voice recorder. Because I knew it was in there. It's kind of like Cracker Jacks, you know, trying to find what was in this box. And I began to take out all of this paperwork. All I want to do is push a button and tell what I wanted my secretary to type. That's all I wanted to do. But I got all of this stuff. Now, I really don't know why I need it in Japanese. I live in Arkansas. But be that as it is, I got it in Japanese as well. It's in every language.
I am Professor Radisson. This is Philosophy 150. Fill in the papers I've just given you with 3 little words. God is dead.
When your faith is tested, would you fight for what you believe?
I actually believe in God.
To me, he's not dead. He's alive.
God's not dead. He's surely alive.
God's Not Dead, the movie. Join the movement at the box office and say, God's not dead. He's surely alive. Now playing. Rated PG. For more information, go to godsnotdeadthemovie.com.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
It's an owner's manual. And it on and on and on and on and on about this mini voice recorder. And the more I looked at this, the more angry I became. I got offended. I got angry. I began to burn on the inside because I paid my money for that voice recorder. It is mine, and I can do what I want to do with it. And this tells me, do not use it in the shower. And that's where I do my best thinking. And who has the right to tell me that I cannot use this to drive a nail with? I pay for it. and it's mine. And who has the right to tell me what I can do with my mini voice recorder? Well, you know, the owner's manual was written by the one who made that voice recorder. And he didn't mean to wreck my life. He didn't mean to keep me from having any fun. He didn't mean to destroy my life. He didn't mean to make me mad and bitter. He just simply said, if you want the longest life, if you want the best service, then here's the way you do it. An owner's manual. Anything you get with moving parts comes with an owner's manual. It's amazing. And I read these owner's manuals and I scratch my head. When I buy a chainsaw and the owner's manual tells me, don't stop the running blade with my hand. I have to think about that. Because I wonder who that was written to. And I'm concerned that I may meet them someday. Yeah, I read owner's manuals. Don't use this hair dryer in the shower. Don't use this toaster in the beginning. Don't put this toaster in the dishwasher. But don't submerge your toaster in the water while it's plugged in. I wonder who they write these things to. But I got a bunch of it here to read. Mad, angry, upset. Who has the right to tell me what to do with my mini voice recorder? It's mine. You know, an owner's manual. It comes from the one that was created the thing. The one that designed the thing. The one that built the thing. And it's not to ruin your life. It's not to bore teenagers and make them have no fun. You know, son, that don't go up your nose. I'm not trying to ruin your life. That's just, you know, that doesn't go in your lungs. I'm not trying to ruin your life. That doesn't go in your veins. You know, I'm not trying to ruin your life. But if you sleep with everybody in town, just tell you, it's not going to work out well for you. If you want the longest life out of this product, then you go to the owner's manual, and it gives you very clear directions. Why is nobody offended? Why is nobody going to Congress and demanding that they vote and stop people telling me what I can do with my voice recorder? You know, we're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to ruin your life. The voice recorder won't work in the shower. It just won't. You know what? I got so mad. It says to put a AAA battery in there. Well, there's several problems I have with that. Number one, those are little. Obviously, they don't hold up long, and I'm going to put me a D cell in this thing. And I'm going to get me a hammer, and I'm going to put a D cell battery in my mini voice recorder if I want to, and you're not going to stand there and tell me I can't. That doesn't go in there. It wasn't designed for that to go in where you're trying to put it. You know, I don't know where all the offense, I don't know where all the anger, I don't know where all the vendetta comes from. The manufacturer just wants you to live a great life. The manufacturer just wants you to get the most out of life that you can possibly get. The manufacturer wants you to enjoy and get the most abundance that you can possibly get out of it. He's trying to ruin you, trying to put any beliefs on you. He wants what's best for you. And if America could only understand our owner's manual, if America could only understand the importance, we got moving parts, and an owner's manual comes with that. I don't care if you're Baptist or Methodist. I don't care if you don't even want to go to church. Don't put your voice recorder in the shower. Don't put it in the dishwasher. I don't care what denomination you are, and I don't care about your upbringing. I don't care what color you are. When your voice recorder gets dirty, don't put it in the dishwasher. I'm not trying to play denomination with you. I'm just trying to get you to understand the manufacturer knows how he created this and understands what your stomach lining can handle and what your stomach lining can't handle. What your veins can handle and what they can't handle. The manufacturer understands what will bring peace and what won't bring peace. The manufacturer understands what will bring joy and happiness and what will. And when he says you take one wife for a lifetime and you don't commit adultery, it's not because he's trying to ruin you. It's not because he's trying to put his beliefs on you. It's just simply, this way works the best. Financially, educationally. I mean, just look at all of the things that one commandment would change across America. Nobody's trying to ruin your life. Nobody's trying to put more on you. Pro-family legislators, you understand what I'm talking about. And you're in a position to be America's hope. You're in a position to be America's hope for our future. And many of you have never even dreamed of being in the position that you're in right now. That was nothing you aspired to do. But that reminds me of a man named Saul, who answered a call on his life, much like many of you have. He never imagined himself doing what he began to do. In fact, as he was going about his business with all the fervor he could go about his business, and he came to a point in life, you can read about it in Acts chapter 9, a man named Saul. He came to a point in his life where he had a call on his life. And when he got up from there, he knew he couldn't do anything different. Many of you had that same call.
Red, White, Blue, and Green is a new reality show following the Green family around the nation, rediscovering the American principles that made us the most successful nation in the history of the world. You can be a part of launching this new reality series by visiting rickgreen.com and clicking on the Red, White, Blue, and Green tab. Here's a sneak peek from the pilot episode. Rick Green coming to you live from the Lone Star State of Texas, a beacon of hope and freedom to liberty lovers around the world. Today I'm thinking about why do we do what we do? Because everywhere we go as a family, when we're traveling and speaking, someone comes up to us and asks, where's the hope? Is it over for America? They genuinely feel like the stars and stripes are fading. I felt that. But when I look at my family, whether it's my son Trey and his drive to exceed expectations, or Reagan and his love for serving and teaching other people, Cameron and her determination to outperform her brothers in everything she does, or my little stagehound Rhett and his boundless enthusiasm. Through their eyes, I see a vibrant nation. When my children stand in the birthplace of the Constitution, or on battlefields where patriots gave their lives, I can see in them a rekindled flame of the American spirit. The future of my children's country is bright because it's built on the foundation of an incredible providential history. A history of patriots and pastors, entrepreneurs and freedom fighters, mothers, fathers, families like yours and mine, who chose to live like their nation depended on it. And it still does. So when people ask us, where is the hope? We tell them, it's in you. Each of us, every individual, every family, has a duty to fight for freedom and add our voice, our color, to the American dream. For our family, it's red, white, and blue, and a little bit of green. To learn more about Red, White, Blue, and Green, visit rickgreen.com.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
You never aspired to be in politics. You never aspired to be in the seat you're in, but you were called. Being called by God is not an easy life. Standing up for truth is not easy. Standing up for right is not easy. As Saul became Paul and found that out. How many times was he beat up? How many times was he drug out of the city and left for dead? Some of you in here been beat up. Some of you in here, you've been drug out of the city and voted out and left for dead. But Paul, he didn't lay outside the city. Got up, dusted himself off, and went back in and ran again. Because he knew that he knew that he knew that he was called to do what he was called to do. Have you come here beat up? Have you come here left for dead? I want to read a passage in Scripture in Acts. I don't have time to read the whole story. I'm just going to read a small part of it. I'm not getting paid enough to read the whole thing. Acts, the story goes on, and Paul was shipwrecked. And he jumped overboard and swam to shore, and they hit a shoal and ran the ship around. The bow of the ship struck fast, the stern smashed by the force. I mean, just word for word, some of your candidates, some of your positions, some stuck and smashed and banged. Commanding officer wanted to spare Paul, so he wouldn't let them even carry out their plan. He's going to kill everybody, so we can't do that. Then he ordered all who could swim to jump overboard first and make it for land. Verse 44, the others held on to planks or debris from the broken ship so that they made it to shore safe. I'm dare to say that some of you, even maybe right now, where you are in your situation, you are holding on to some debris. You're holding on to some planks floating in the water. Your ship has been crashed. Your ship has been tore up. And you are holding on to some debris just trying to paddle to shore right now. If that's not enough, you get safe to shore on Malta. Whew. It's cold. You're wet. Verse 3, chapter 28, Paul starts gathering an armful of sticks and was laying them on the fire, and a poisonous snake, driven out by the heat, bit him on the hand. Are there some poisonous snakes that have been driven out by the heat in your district? Maybe sitting to the right or to the left of you in your chambers. Poisonous snakes. You know what drives them out? The heat. The heat drives them out. If that's not enough, the snake latches on to Paul's hand. I'm wondering if some of you in here right now have come here with a poisonous snake latched on to your hand, injecting venom in you. I dare say probably somebody in here has got a newspaper editor that's doing a very good job at that. I'd say that some of you in here defeated somebody, and they're still around. They're still around, and they've latched on to you, injecting venom in your veins. At every turn, every bill you try to write, everything you try to introduce, there's a snake. Venom, venom, venom. But here's what I want to show you in verse 5. The power of God was so strong in Paul's life that he shook the snake off and was unharmed. Shook the snake off and he was unharmed. And the same power that ran through Paul's veins is here this night to infuse you with his power and to run through your veins. That same power that was in Christ Jesus that rose him from the dead can dwell in you. And when those poisonous snakes want to attach themselves to you, they've been driven out by the heat that you are creating. You're going to have to come to a place where you are able to shake them off and to go on about what God's called you to do. You're going on your journey. I'm on a journey. There's a destination ahead of me, and there's a place I'm going. I've been shipwrecked. I've been beat. I've been left for dead. I'm floating in the ocean, and I'm hanging on to debris, and I'm paddling myself to the shore. I get to the shore, and a poisonous snake, driven out by the heat, latches itself on me, but I'm still headed in the direction that I set out to go. And God's got you on a direction. God has set a course for you, and you're going to have to shake off that snake and go right on with what God's calling you to do. As we end tonight, what's bitten you? What's bitten you? Legislators, there is a snake out there. There's a snake out there. Been around since Adam and Eve. There's a snake out there. And he wants to inject his poison in you. And everybody, anybody that's doing God's will, God's purpose, and God's work will have to deal with the snake. Tonight, I want to close by shaking that snake off. I want to close by shaking that snake off. Where are you? Are you hanging on to some debris right now? Or are you just trying to get yourself to shore? Is that snake hanging on you? America cannot have you taken out. Your district, your state, the families in your area, the families in your state cannot have you taken out. We're not trying to ruin your life. We're not trying to make you have no fun. There's just a way that works best. We all understand this. It's time that America get back to it.
Out of time today, folks. That was Tim Brooks, a two-part series that he gave at the Pro-Family Legislators Conference. If you just joined us today and missed yesterday, you can get it right now on our website at wallbuilderslive.com. Special thanks to Tim Brooks for sharing. Thank you for listening to WallBuilders Live with David Barton and Rick Green.
We stand undivided.